Woo! Today I'm going to show you how to make crispy quinoa, an insanely delicious and crunchy topper for salads. Let me show you how to do it. Let's go. This is one of my favorite things that I've developed in recent times. It came as kind of a brainstorm after thinking, what could I put on a salad that would be crunchy, but maybe a little more nutritious than croutons, or I had been doing a lot of panko breadcrumbs, not offering a lot of nutrition, basically crumbled white bread. And I came up with quinoa. It came out incredibly well. I've been obsessed with it. I cannot get enough. I keep making it over and over again to replenish. And my own children have been just gobbling this up, as well as my cooking students. So let me show you how to make it. Here's our recipe. Let's take a look at the details. We have 1 cup of quinoa cooked in only 3/4 of a cup of water. We're gonna cook that in a pan covered for 8 minutes, then drain it really well. Then transfer it to a medium skillet here, or a large 12-inch skillet actually. And then we're gonna cook it in quite a bit of olive oil, a 1/4 cup here. And we're gonna toast that up until it's really nice and crispy. Then we can season it with some nutritional yeast and some kosher salt. And like with all salads, we wanna make sure that our toppings and our dressings are almost uncomfortably salty, because once we go ahead and apply it to a lot of unseasoned greens that have a lot of water in there, each bite will be diluting that salt down in our mouth and just adjusting it so it's perfect and really making it a satisfying salt level. Let's start by gathering our ingredients. And it's actually quite simple here. We have quinoa, a ton of olive oil, nutritional yeast, and salt. And here's our cooking tools, not too many as well. We have a fine mesh strainer. That's gonna be for washing and rinsing the quinoa at the very beginning here, and then draining it when it's done. A liquid measuring cup to measure the water. Dry measuring cups to measure the quinoa and the olive oil. Measuring spoons, and some sort of cooking tool that you can use. I love a silicone tipped spatula. It could also be a wooden spoon or some other kind of metal tool if your pot is metal. And speaking of, we need 1 small pot that has a lid on it. That's gonna be for cooking the quinoa. Our first step is to measure and rinse the quinoa. I like to do things like this in a measuring cup directly over whatever vessel it's gonna end up in. So if there's any spills, we'll just spill into the place it's going. This is a really good tip for kids who definitely need to make messes and make little mistakes and spill. Make sure that you let your kids do that. Spilling is great. The directions on the package say to always rinse and drain the quinoa thoroughly in cold water before cooking. So let's take that to heart and actually do that. We wanna make sure we get rid of anything that we don't want that's on the quinoa currently. And this should take no more than 15 seconds just to get it kind of wet and fully rinsed. Now go ahead and grab the pot that you'll use for cooking and your glass measuring cup, and let's get 3/4 of a cup of cold water here. And now's a good time to grab your spatula. Let's transfer that quinoa into here. And one of the reasons I love the silicone tip so much is that it can contour to pretty much anything that it's touching and really scrape 100% of what we're getting into our pot. Give it a little stir. Okay, now we'll cover it and bring it to a boil over high heat briefly. Let's go ahead and turn this down to low, probably 2 on this burner, and that's gonna help us maintain a simmer. If we reference our recipe here, it does use the word simmer. And simmer is just having the heat low enough so that it kind of maintains that heat in there and can absorb water into the quinoa. And we don't need any active big bubbles happening for any reason. So let's go ahead and set our timer for 8 minutes and we'll meet back when that's done. And I'm gonna open up the lid and check on it. And this is exactly what we're looking for here. Like I said, not overly fluffy. It's not stuck or burnt to the bottom, but it's also a teeny bit wet here. I wouldn't actually really want to eat this, kind of in a bowl as a base or anything, but for our purposes, it's going to be kind of perfect. Let me check on the texture. Still a little bit crunchy, but like very toothsome and nutty. Exactly what we're looking for here. I'm going to go ahead and drain this in the fine mesh strainer. And it looks like it's actually absorbed all the water that was in there, so I see no drips coming out of it, so we're good to go to the next part. And on a side note, I'm a huge clean as you go fan, so I'm just gonna go ahead and rinse the pot that the quinoa cooked in, and when I come back to it later, it'll be super easy to wipe out instead of having quinoa stuck all over it. And next is what I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, some sort of skillet here. I'm using a 12-inch stainless skillet. You could use a non-stick or even a carbon steel skillet would work as well. Grab your olive oil and your 1/4 cup measure. And like I said, this is a good amount of olive oil. This is not a shy amount here. This actually came from kind of a mistake when I was developing the recipe. I had my giant Costco sized thing of olive oil and I kind of just dumped in a little too much. I didn't even mean to do that. And it came out really amazing. And I thought, okay, let's not mess with this kind of happy accident here. It's basically shallow frying the quinoa and making sure that it's really, really crispy through and through. And the flavor of the olive oil really comes through. It's really delicious. So a 1/4 cup ends up being just the right amount here. And this is a safety tip, especially for cooking with kids. The heat is not on at all yet. We have olive oil in a cold pan. Now I'm gonna add the quinoa before anything else is going on. This will completely prevent a bunch of spitting oil that could come back at us, and cause injuries, especially with kids. So go ahead and put this in here as it is. Everything's kind of room temperature or cold. Then we can turn on the heat. And I have my burner set to 1 notch above medium here. This is 6 out of 10 on this burner. So just around medium, the high end of medium. And now we can start giving this a little stir and incorporating the olive oil and the quinoa. And this is gonna take some time to cook through, 8 to 10 minutes total. So we're just gonna hang out and kind of stir it every minute or so. It doesn't have to be crazy or anything. Probably a little more frequently toward the end, but we can just let it hang out here toward the beginning. Here's an 8-minute timer just for a reference point. It's been about 1.5 minutes and I'm starting to get a little bit of drying and sticking to the bottom of the pan. And that's a good thing. We want everything to really dry out and get super crispy. That's our goal. So any drying and sticking is a good sign. And after about 3 minutes, we have even more sticking and toasting happening. We're just gonna keep it going like this. And in general, if you're cooking something and you feel like it's not progressing quickly, you can turn up the heat for sure. Especially if your stove runs on the low end and it's just kind of colder in general. I'm gonna go ahead and put mine up 1 notch here and see if that helps things go a little bit faster, maybe even 2 notches, we'll see. So after about 6 minutes here, I'm starting to get my first toasty aromas, which is a really good sign. And if things are feeling dry, you're also welcome to add a little more oil. I'm gonna do that for mine here. Okay, we're at the 8-minute mark here, and mine is definitely not done. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn my heat up 1 more notch and start to really get in there a little bit more, maybe with this metal tool here, since I have a stainless pan. Another great cue is the auditory cue. We're listening for lots of popping, and that's gonna increase more and more as this gets closer to being done. And this is a great lesson in using your intuition and presence, just being here and saying, what do we want out of this quinoa? It actually requires trusting yourself a bit to know, okay, this recipe, some guy said it takes 8 minutes or 10 minutes, but mine's not there yet. So trusting yourself to keep going further on and using the tools that you have available to you here. For me, the wild card is this induction burner. The heat is really focused in the center, so it doesn't actually get a good distribution on the outer ring of the pan here. And I've learned that over time. So really the center is getting a lot of heat and the outside's not cooking, so it's just a lot slower cooking. We're not getting even heat throughout. So a couple of things to take note of here. Sound, listening for lots of popping. Visual cues, we're seeing it turn darker golden brown as time goes on. And also tactile, I'm feeling there's not any sticking happening anymore. The quinoa feels really light and I can kind of almost feel that it's kind of like scratchy and running across the surface evenly. And the reason that it's not sticking to the pan anymore like it was toward the beginning of cooking is that the quinoa has completely dried out. All of the starch on the exterior of each grain of quinoa has been set. The olive oil has cooked it and completely sealed it, so there's no more stickiness happening and wanting to either cohere or adhere to the pan. So I can just feel all these things are changing and progressing very nicely. So we're just gonna keep going until it's really, really toasty. This is coming along really nicely here. Oh my gosh, I really like how it's looking. And the aroma reminds me of making homemade popcorn. Let's compare it to our original here. Video editing machine, give us a look in the past. Yeah, so we made quite a bit of progress. It might feel like it's going really slow. My induction burner is definitely going slower than my stovetop, so I'm like, this is taking forever, way longer than the recipe said, but it is progressing and we're getting almost there. And even as I say that, I see that my center bit here is really, we're hitting this threshold where it's crossing over and getting very dark in the center of the pan. So I'm gonna really start moving it around more and more frequently now, and maybe even turn down the heat. We could probably even see this change in real time if we look at the camera. It's changing very rapidly here. So shades are going darker, faster, faster, faster. And we're at the tail end of our cooking here. Be really vigilant and turn down the heat a few notches, make sure that I don't burn anything, and just get it really evenly toasted beautifully all the way throughout. Okay, I really like the color that I'm seeing here. It's gonna continue cooking for a minute, so I'm gonna turn it off now so that I don't risk overcooking it and burning it. I'm gonna pull this off the heat a little bit, and now it's time to season. Here's our salt. And this is Diamond Crystal kosher salt. I'm using 2 teaspoons here. If you have any other sort of salt, especially like a fine sea salt or table salt, just do 1 teaspoon. Got it? 2 if you have Diamond Crystal kosher salt, 1 if you have something else. And this is nutritional yeast. I have the Bragg roasted garlic flavor. So this is really nice and just adds this extra layer of yummy, savory goodness. Absolutely optional, but it adds a lot to it. I'm gonna even start with 1 today, stir it and taste it, and see if I wanna add more later. Ooh, and the smell of that roasted garlic nutritional yeast is super delicious. I'm gonna go ahead and taste this now. I can tell that it's gonna be really crispy. As always, be careful, don't burn yourself. Wow, insanely delicious. The crunch is unreal. All these little micro crunches that just add up to this insane symphony of crunch in my mouth. So that's it for now, and I'll see you soon. And until then, get your kids in the kitchen with you. Let them be involved in this cooking process. And let them do kind of anything that you feel comfortable with them doing. If it's older kids, they could possibly do this whole thing by themselves. Younger kids, maybe it's just measuring, tasting things as they go, even tasting the raw quinoa once it's washed. A lot of times kids just want to taste things and be involved in that process. You'll be really amazed at what happens once you let kids be involved in the whole process, start to finish, see how it's all made, even let them watch this video. And then you're no longer pushing and pulling with them. You're just having them actively create something and they're so proud of it. And then they're excited to eat it. So let them do that as much as possible and really to see those changes that happen in your home as you're letting your kids be involved in cooking and seeing where foods come from and how nutritious things can be. All right, bye for now. Ooh, listen to that sound.